like we need better Black leadership? How many of y'all feel like a lot of our leadership is misguided, fake, messing us up, guiding us down the wrong path, got us looking blind, deaf, dumb, and stupid? How many of y'all agree with that? I personally feel that way, and I think it's important that we're honest about that. Our leadership has guided us into a ditch. Well, Dr. Harris and I became friends basically because he is the opposite of that. He's a guy that has a vision that I respect, and I'm gonna just do justice and be respectful and make sure I mention some of the stuff on his bio. Just so you know, the bio is long and powerful, but I'll give you the key elements here. First off, Dr. Harris has a doctorate, a dual PhD in economics and Black studies from the Michigan State University. And y'all know I have my doctorate from the Ohio State University. So that means me and him are supposed to be duking it out after the podcast or something, but we don't do that type of thing. He also is the 16th president of the National Business League. Now, the National Business League was founded by Dr. Booker T. Washington in 1900. And Dr. Harris, right now, he oversees a membership of about 120,000 individuals across 50 states and internationally, supported by 125 Fortune 500 corporate partners. And they have regional offices in Atlanta, Detroit, Los Angeles, DC, Cape Town, South Africa, and their national headquarters is going to be in Tuskegee, Alabama. And he's done so many other things. His career is marked by a commitment to Black economic liberation. He is also the executive vice president of the Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council, where he contributed to 36 billion in annual economic output in 2017, provided a $20 million capital lifeline to Black-owned businesses impacted by COVID-19. And in 2023, he achieved $100 million in contracts for Black businesses with major corporations, including Stellantis, GM, Ford, DTE Energy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He also, last thing I'm gonna mention, because I want y'all to be impressed with this brother as I am. In early 2024, Dr. Harris led a trade mission of 42 Black women-owned businesses to Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, and he secured 40 million in business opportunities across South America and the Caribbean. So I hope you all will give a big Black digital welcome to the one and only Dr. Ken Harris. How you doing today, brother?
It's such an honor to be on your show, Dr. Boyce. I appreciate you and giving me the invite and the opportunity to share light.
Yeah, man. You know, the opportunity is all mine, and the blessing belongs to all of us. So, Dr. Harris, let's just start from the beginning. One of the things I mentioned earlier that might sound like a radical statement is that there's something kind of wrong with the way our community has been led. That when people talk about Black leadership, I think people really have a really cynical and negative opinion about those Black folks that are in the most prominent spaces that are supposed to be providing some sort of leadership or guidance to the community. Do you even think that we need Black leadership, number one? And then number two, to the extent that there are individuals that are referenced as Black leaders, how do you feel that has gone for us so far?
Well, in my opinion, Dr. Boyce, history tends to repeat itself. Sometimes when we're reminded of some of the systemic issues in the Black community that face us today, it's hard for us to kind of recognize that, the pendulum always tends to swing back and forth. And what I mean by that is when we don't know our history, it's hard to know our current circumstances. And so, me being a history buff, and understanding that we come from a powerful people, a powerful race. I always go back to the source, Dr. Boyce. And I think that's real critical, especially in this age when the next generation has so much access to information that our generation and our parents' generation may not have had. But we can trace back to the source the tremendous amount of impact that Black people have had, not only on civilization and humanity, but on the planet itself. And I always remind myself I don't know if you're students or I'm sure you've been several times to ancient Kemet, which is called Egypt today, after it was renamed by the Greeks. But on what I call the books of stone, you can see the remarkable transgenerational leadership that existed, the innovation that took place that allowed for Black people to rule the world for over 5,000 years. And so when I think about leadership today, we can almost in many cases become, very unsettled, very frustrated, but at the same time, we come from a mighty and great people. And so hopefully that's an inspiration to not only your students, but we have great role models that go all the way to the beginning of time. And it's great to be proud of that.
So, Dr. Ken Harris, one thing that I know about the National Business League is that you all were founded by the one and only Booker T. Washington,
Yep.
and there were a lot of misperceptions about Booker T. I remember when you were on the panel for the All Black National Convention during the
Yeah.
pandemic, actually. And I remember it seemed like Dr. Julianne Malveaux, who's a great friend of mine and somebody I
Yeah.
really love and respect,
Yeah.
she just flat out said something like, Booker T. Washington wasn't nothing but an old sellout or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and, and I was curious to see how you'd respond to that, and you responded to it very well. What do you say to those people who have an image of Booker T. Washington that is less than favorable?
Yeah. I kind of look at it as, the slave was not only hindered by a process that is not only transitioned generationally, but we have always kind of attacked each other as opposed to pulling the best from each other and learning from areas of life that may not have directly influenced us in a positive way. And what I love about Booker T. Washington, and if you know the game of white supremacy, if you know the game of they wait till you die and 15, 20 years later try to remake you in their own form or have a perception of you that's not true. Well, the great thing about it is one, you can't escape history and facts. What I love about Booker T. Washington, as I told the great Julian Malveaux, is that Booker T was the first to start a national economic movement. He formed the National Business League in 1900. Within a short amount of time, within 5 years, he had 300 chapters all throughout the United States to promote the commercialization of Black business enterprises. And he set us on a course to recognize post-slavery and what he would call working with your heads, your hands, and your heart is in his speech in 1895, he gave a phenomenal speech called the Atlanta Exposition Speech in 1895 at Piedmont Park. And his message to the community is stop worrying about white folks' politics. Stop worrying about trying to sit at their tables. Come back to your communities, take on your trade, and let us focus on entrepreneurial ownership and development so that when it comes to our entrepreneurial success, not only will we be success by forming businesses, but eventually we would control the politics, social, and educational pursuits too. And so that's what I loved about Booker T. Washington, who promoted economic reliance, self-determination, and most importantly, he believed in his core fabric that, again, economic and entrepreneurial enterprise would lead to our independence, liberation, freedom, and sovereignty. And so at the core of that message, Dr. Boyce, is more relevant today than it was 125 years ago. And I'm proud to say that we are now, due to his vision, due to his innovation, celebrating our quincentennial 125th year anniversary of the National Business League, which is the nation's first and oldest trade association for Black-owned businesses.
Well, and congratulations on that. I mean, I think that that's extraordinary, and I'll tell you, it's really interesting. Particularly right now, I think if there was ever a time we needed the guidance of Booker T. Washington and what he represented, it would be right now, right? You see that DEI has been pretty much killed. The Trump administration has, murdered a lot of jobs in broad daylight. And one of the things that comes to mind when I think about Booker T is the idea of self-reliance
Yep.
and institution building.
Yep.
Having real skills, skills you can put your hands on, the ability to go build a community, the ability to develop whatever you need to allow you to have some degree of freedom and independence. Um, what do you think about this? My belief is that we need these ideas right now. The system has not delivered for us in the way that we expected, and some of us got a little bit too comfortable.
Yep.
And now we sort of hit this point of reckoning where maybe it's time to take inventory of what we're actually able to do versus what others are doing for us. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, again, and I will always kind of in this narrative on this conversation, I'm going to stick to, historic history is a marker for us, and it tends to repeat itself. And if we trace ourselves back to the time of Booker T. Washington, post-slavery, Reconstruction, Renaissance period, where Black folks was let off the plantation with no formal education, no access to capital, no access to insurance, no access to resources, and built one of the most powerful resurgences in the Black community, both social, educational, political, and economic, seen in even modern times as significant progress. And so that tells you what we're capable of. And I think everyone recognizes that. Booker T. Washington promoted Black economic independence. Why? Because we're not chasing jobs, we're building ownership and systems now. And so he was an institutionalist. He was a person that believed in character and integrity. He was a man that lived that his entire life. And so when we talk about leadership today, in your first question, I think Booker T. Washington represented that leader that not only was a person who could inspire, but represented in his life that type of character that we need to see today. But most importantly, in terms of system, institutional building, not only was he able to envision an organization that could last 125 years and promote Black businesses in enterprise ownership and development, but he would also position us in this time to move away from being politically motivating, thinking that that's going to lead us to economic liberation, thinking that having a PhD or 2 master's degrees is going to lead us to economic independence. Having social apparatus and social influence would lead us to having economic independence and liberation and empowerment. And what we see is quite different, right? So we're thankful for the Boyce Watkins program. We're thankful for Dr. Claude Anderson. We're thankful for the 10 Commandments of Black economic power, because right now the conversation is what Booker T. Washington promoted, Dr. Boyce, and that's economic independence, liberation, ownership, and sovereignty. We are now 100% off the plantation. We're not going to keep one foot on the plantation like we did for the past 61 years post-civil rights. We are focused 100% on our full sovereignty and our economic pursuits.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about, and I love that. I don't. Does everybody else agree with that? I mean, do we agree that it's time to build institutions, it's time to have businesses, it's time to have skills, it's time to have some degree of economic independence, right? I mean, these are not controversial ideas. There's no nation on earth that doesn't want to have industry and economic development. There's no country on earth. And one thing that we also know, Dr. Harris, and you know this because you have, and everybody knows, I want everybody who just came in, this is Dr. Ken Harris. He's the president of the National Business League, and he also has a double doctorate in economics and Black studies from the Michigan State University. You know this, that there's very little evidence that any country that has ever lived off of aid from other countries, like countries that get foreign aid from the United States, those countries don't prosper. No country has ever elevated itself to first world status through some sort of dependence on another nation, like over dependence, right? Unhealthy dependence, right? So for us, it seems that given that we have these skills, given that we know how to work hard, given that we have so much in our community already that can be built upon. It's time to sort of shift the direction, do a little bit of a pivot, right? And so, for example, you got millions of our children coming out of public schools right now that don't have a skill. I don't know about you, but tell me if you agree. I think Booker T would be, I think he'd be rolling over in his grave right now if he saw that. The fact that you got millions of our children who could pick up a bucket or a saw or learn how to do some plumbing, learn how to do some HVAC, some carpentry, and make good money and build million-dollar businesses doing that. That's all being wasted, thrown down the drain. This, to me, is a national emergency. This is an abomination, in my view. What are your thoughts on some of what I just said?
Well, one, again, Dr. Huey P. Newton said the revolution always remains with the youth. And so I look to this next generation who is more entrepreneurial than ever. And I think, us being in the middle ground, I see our organization connected to Booker T. Washington, who was a major person during that time period of the Renaissance movement, who believed in trades and skilled trades and apprenticeships and mastering a particular trade or entrepreneurial endeavor. So we're coming back to that now. The person who can master doing doorknobs for doors can become a multi-million-dollar business just focusing on doorknobs. The little simple things like that. The person who can understand agriculture and creating products and services of need for our communities, and finding that gap, that person can create a sustainable lifestyle in agriculture. And then looking at where we are in technology today. This is an entrepreneurial environment. In case you all don't know the statistics, there are more than 3.6 million Black-owned businesses in the United States of America. 90% of those Black businesses are between 1 and 3 employees. But even intrinsically important to that, of that 1 to 3 employees, the success rate of those businesses are normally 1 to 3 years before they either fail. Because why? We don't have the current ecosystems that you provide with your particular institution on a national scale. And most importantly, we don't understand that there is so much opportunity in entrepreneurship. We can start in any industry and sector and almost be successful. So our goal right now is to get knowledge to the community in how to form a business, how to start a business, how to create generational wealth for yourself, how to get into an industry, a sector that may be of passion for you, that you would love to do, even if you never got paid, and to turn that into an enterprise so that you can create the type of legacy and generational wealth that could last for generations. And then, like I said, we're not reinventing the wheel as well. I am so fortunate, and I know it makes you excited, Dr. Boyce, that we are in the digital automation age, the age of AI, the age of digital transformation. And so we get a chance to witness with what our babies grow up with the iPad and a laptop in their hand. And we didn't even have access. If you think about back in the day when we were playing ColecoVision and some of the other games that existed, I think the children today would have laughed at the large remote controls that we used to have back in the day. But they can do all of that from their cell phone now. So I always say that now is a significant time. This is the great transition. This is the great transfer. More millionaires will be created in this generation than ever before in history. More entrepreneurs will be formed than any time in history. This will be the greatest generational transfer of wealth than any time known in history. So I'm inspired by the future. Even though we have tough times ahead of us, it's going to be uncomfortable, but the revolution won't be televised. It will be digitized. And I tell myself all the time and my students that, look, grab something, turn it into an enterprise, own it and control it. Because if you don't own it and if you don't control it, whether it's labor, whether it's media, whether it's your neighborhoods, whether it's your house, or even the time on your schedule, right? If you don't control it, then something or someone else controls you.
100%. Everybody, I'm speaking with Dr. Ken Harris. He's the national president of the National Business League. And we're here talking about all different kinds of things. And I want everybody to know also that Dr. Harris is partnering with us this year with the All Black National Convention, and the National Business League is hosting their annual event as well. And so you'll get not just 2 for 1, you really get 5 for 1. I mean, there's a lot of other partners, and what we're trying to do here, and I want everybody to know about this, is we're doing something that we expect to be epic. It's going to be epic in the sense that that very rarely have I seen this many Black organizations come together to do something great. I was looking through the list of different organizations that you partner with, and when you reached out to me about us working together on the convention and everything else that's happening there, it's not just the convention, it's everything. I said, this is epic. This is beautiful. I want to be a part of this. So as we talk about what's coming up, and I want everybody, I'll put the URL where you can join us in August. Tell me about I'm gonna call it the gathering, because I call it the All Black National Convention, right? That's what we call it every year. This is our 10th year, but I know you might have different terminology. I want to respect that. Tell me about the gathering and why people need to come in terms of connecting with people that are doing great things like yourself and thousands of others. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Boyce. I mean, this is the time where, I always say Negroes with egos is a no-go. And I mention that for the fact that it's time for like minds, like attainment, and individuals who have similar pursuits to collaborate and come together. It not only is it important for this time, but it's an actual ancient African Kemetic way of life. We have always worked in as communicable entities in society. And so you find that today that the power of us, two entities that have tremendous respect, the All Black National Convention, which is celebrating, congratulations, its 10th year. We have the 40th anniversary of the National Policy Alliance. We have the 100th anniversary of the National Bar Association. We have the 125th anniversary of the National Business League's Quincentennial celebration. You have the anniversary last year of the World Conference of Mayors. You had the 40th anniversary 2 years ago of the National Black Chamber of Commerce, and the list could go on and on and on and on. So the importance of recognizing this is that we are coming together. We're showing the world that people who have synergy and alignment can work towards solving problems together. And I really think that's what this is about, boys, is that we are solutionaries. We are solving business problems in society, and we're doing it together. And actually, our tagline for the conference, outside of supporting all of us coming together, is "We are together," and that's the message that we want to send. It's always the media portraying us as divided, isolated, marginalized, disconnected, but we are a powerful group when we actually come together. But what's also special about our conference that's going to take place together August the 20th through the 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Hilton Atlanta, and you can register today. Tickets are going fast at the All Black National Convention website. Get your ticket. It's going to be phenomenal in Atlanta. We have over 32 plus African, Caribbean, and South American countries that will be at the conference. So now this is a global connectivity. Folks that are looking to do business in Ghana, in Senegal, you name it. Folks that are looking to do business in Jamaica, in Barbados, in Trinidad and Tobago. Folks that are looking to do business throughout South America, Colombia, Brazil, etc. You have the opportunity to connect directly with the leadership. And our number one goal with this is to cut out the middleman and the middlewoman, get people directly to the source. Because we got a community of gatekeepers. It's time to move those folks out of the way. because at the end of the day, we want to get you directly to your opportunities and creating generational wealth. So I'm excited about the future, Dr. Boyce. Um, One, we have our history to learn from. We have a great role model in Dr. Booker T. Washington, Dr. Claude Anderson, who is a mentor to both you and I. We have your platform, Dr. Watkins, and most importantly, we have the next generation who are taking no prisoners when it comes to entrepreneurship. They're not just local, regional, and national in their inclination, they're global in their pursuits, and they have that opportunity to establish global networks. So I'm excited about the future, my friend.
Me too, man. Me too. You know, as I'm listening to you talk about this vision for the future, and then I'm looking at just, images from the last convention. Y'all can see this, right? Can you see this, Dr. Harris?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it really excites me because I really want everybody to know, even before, before we partnered with you to do
Yep.
what is almost like the Avengers movie in the sense that we're bringing together the Incredible Hulk and Iron Man and the Black Panther and even before that though, the Incredible Hulk was a pretty good movie, right? Iron Man by himself was pretty. So we were Iron Man, but we were by ourselves. And the fact that we're partnering this year it just really excites me because we got so many amazing things happening in our community, so many talented people. Like a lot of people don't even know some of the things that are happening behind the scenes, some of the things you're doing, as well as things that we got going on. Like LeVar Scott right now, he's a NASCAR driver. He was there last year. He's the points leader right now in the ARCA series. He's a smart young brother. There's Dr. Melina Abdullah. She was the vice president, presidential candidate with Dr. Cornel West. There's Dr. George C. Frazier, one of the greatest men in all of human history. There you are. I see you, brother Nuri Muhammad, one of the greatest leaders in the history of our nation. Right. So we just the point is that I want to make on this is that like we're the best.
Yep.
Our people are the best, especially when we focus. And what I mean by focus is when we focus on how great we can be, when we just settle down, stop worrying about what everybody else is doing, stop sitting around just being mad at what everybody else is saying about us,
Yep.
and focus on what we're saying about ourselves, what we're doing with ourselves, what are we doing with our children, what are we building, what are we getting done, and that's what I liked about that Booker T speech. With one thing that you said when you talked about his speech, you said it was in Piedmont Park, right in Atlanta,
Right.
in 1895. The thing I liked about your reference to that speech was it seemed to me that was similar to the message that he had. His message was, look, stop getting caught up in all this other political stuff.
Yeah.
Just sit down, do your work, build your empire, and build what I almost call like that quiet power. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. In fact, sometimes the loudest person in the room is the least powerful person in the room because
Oh,
all they can do is yell and scream,
that's right.
right? But you can walk softly and carry a big stick. And I think that's one of the things I like about your leadership is that you don't see Ken out here boasting and bragging and I'm the greatest this and I'm the most amazing at that. No, Ken is quietly sitting back, getting things done, right? And that's what we really need is we need people that are going to be the grown-ups in the room to get things done, and so this brother represents that. So Dr. Harris, so this year at the gathering. Maybe I found another term. I don't want to call it the All Black National Convention only because that's part of
I,
it.
I think that you should. I think you
Okay.
should be unapologetic about the All Black National Convention's 10th anniversary. I think that you should promote it to the hilt. I think that the B1 family should be promoted as a catalyst to what we're trying to do. And I think every other organization is doing the same. See, we don't want, sometimes we think, Dr. Boyce, by collaborating or working together that we have to give up our identities. We don't have to do that. Actually, we want to serve as a megaphone to increase your capacity, right? So where the National Medical Association or the National Bankers Association or the National Association for African American Insurance Professionals, those groups that you may have never connected with, You're now in the same room together to share resources, to expose yourself to it. And this is how we build community. So, yes, promote the all, but we're promoting the All Black National Convention. We're promoting all the other institutions that are going to be there. And like I said, to have a 125-year organization still in existence today and transitioning into the future is what our ancestors dreamed of. So 100%. Booker T was like, stop worrying about their politics. Stop worrying about their educational pursuits. Stop comparing yourself and trying to beg to be at somebody else's table. It's time to create our own tables. It's time to focus on us. It is time to be entrepreneurial in our pursuits, because that is the key to liberation, freedom, and sovereignty. And that's what it's truly all about at this time. And so there is no other advantage. If you don't own and control anything, you can't play in this game, period. So the goal is to get yourself in position to do something that you love and to connect with other like minds, because we know all skin folk ain't kinfolk. But you definitely, when you are aligned with yourself, you're zoned out with your purpose, you can start to identify and attract people with similar missions. And that's how me and you came together. I want to see you, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Not only have you been a legend in this game for well over a decade and empowered so many people, I want to see you continue to be successful. I want to use my network that I have established that you may or may not have relationships with. I want to bring that to the table for you so that you can be successful. And I don't want anything from you. I just want you to come together. I'm not asking you for anything, right? It's just like, man, you know what? You hungry? Come into the kitchen. I got an extra piece of vegan chicken. I'm plant-based, y'all. I'm vegan, but Dr. Boyce likes meat. But what I'm saying is, we don't have to continue to be crabs in a barrel or isolated in our thought. We can work together, and you don't have to lead the conversation with how much you gonna pay me, what you gonna bring to the table, right? So I think of my a grandfather who said, you know what, son, back in the early post-slavery, he said, I ain't got a whole bunch of money, but what I can do, I got a chicken, some eggs, and a few dollars. I can get you for the first 3 months of your school semester tuition for college, but you got to hold it down after that. So sometimes that's all we need, is that exposure, or that seat at our table where we can share resources. And I think what we're doing is not only going to be the model for the future, we're going to change the game together. So everyone's registering right now. This conference is going to have well over 1,000+ entrepreneurs from around the world. This is our time to come together and show people, not tell them, show them what we're capable of.
Right on. I love that. I love that. And now I hope y'all understand why I was so happy to have this brother come in today. And by the way, if you want to join us in Atlanta for the convention, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. There's regular passes, VIP passes, vendor passes. We don't have that many slots for vendor spaces, so you may want to grab one if you want to be a vendor. Also, the hotel is super nice and very, 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 very comfortable. And in addition to that, it's a classy event. I went to Dr. Harris's event for the National Business League, and it was full of intelligent people, good people, full of love. Prosperity was in the room. There wasn't anything crazy, ratchet, none of that nonsense that you might see in other places. And the convention's the same way. So, Dr. Harris, I'm gonna let you speak for a minute because I got somebody ringing my doorbell. But speak to that also in terms of just the spirituality of what the movement should represent. You talked about Negroes with egos is a no-go. Can you talk about other things that they want us to inherit from slavery that we're pushing to the side? We're cursing it to the root so we can move forward in love and power. You go ahead and speak, and I'm going to step off camera for 1 second. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no problem. For the students that, are on this call within the B1 network, I always carry the philosophy of energy, vibration, and frequency, understanding that from a spiritual perspective, and I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. And what I mean by that is that I trace my spirituality past slavery back to our Kemetic and ancient roots. And so I don't have to go outside of myself to seek spiritual prominence with myself, but I can go rather inward. So this is the type of life that I live, where not only I've been plant-based for over a decade, I'm a yogi. I do tons of inner work, shadow work, to make sure that I'm always balanced and aligned with my original and unique purpose of what I came here for. But most importantly, to motivate the type of energy and vibration and frequency in the community that I want to attract. And so with that, I'm always looking for synergy and alignment. If it doesn't align, I'm pretty much okay with that. I had a major corporation offer me $1 million some in sponsorship to do a certain type of program. I told them no. Why? Because what they wanted was not in alignment with what I was trying to do. So I'm not led by the material, superficial, or flesh-driven or worldly pursuits of society, which was trained to us to pursue. I'm actually connected to nature. I'm actually connected to the spirit. I'm actually connected to the human design of the Black community. And I'm actually connected to my roots. I know where I come from. I'm both indigenous to this land, as Black people populated the entire planet, are aboriginal to the entire planet. So this entire planet is my original indigenous land. And so I operate from that perspective. And so when we talk about spirituality, everything we do is spiritual. Our business is spiritual. And so I lead a clean life, right? I try to, I'm not a perfect person, but I try to learn every single day. I don't believe in right or wrong. I believe in lessons and blessings, right? There is no such thing as failure. You can always learn from something, and you can always learn from it to propel and become a master at it from that lesson. And so, if I stumble, I look at it as an opportunity to get back up. I went to a historically Black college and university. I went to Clark Atlanta University. That's what I claim as my first institution before going to a PWI, right? The PhD is cool, but where I really learned about myself was at the Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, where I played point guard on the basketball team and started doing everything but what I got a full scholarship for. I became student government president. I became president of the Psi Chi Honor Society. I got involved with the greatest fraternity in the world, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I got involved in so much, but most importantly, I learned about my history. I was surrounded by the best and the brightest Black minds in the world, and they cared about my success. And that's why I always say there's no success without succession. And so I am here for you. And that's spirituality to me, is that we are passing the torch. We are giving information so that we can prepare the next revolution. I always tell people I'm not even worried about the future, because your generation, the B1 family, y'all are going to bust the doors open. All I'm doing is putting armor rod on some of them old tires, right? We don't have to reinvent the wheel. You all are going to change the game forever. You're going to work together. You're going to do co-ops. You're going to own and control your legacies. You're going to embrace technology. You're going to be economically solvent. You're going to marry, have children, procreate, build beautiful Black families that contribute to a beautiful Black community that grows into a beautiful Black global nation. You can't stop it. The ancestors are coming back. And so if you don't feel that energy, it's okay, because the light is already here, is already moving. And those who are participating, who are coming back to themselves, who are getting pure, who are building character, who are taking the hard route instead of the easy route so that they can master the hard route so that life becomes easy, that's what life is all about. So folks, I'm looking forward to seeing y'all at the All Black National Convention in August. That's just the beginning to what we are going to do together.
All right. Well, I'm telling you, I Now y'all know why this brother is one of my buddies, and I just have a lot of respect for him. And you talking to a guy who don't have I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a wide. I don't cast a wide net. I'm my interpretation of energy is I'm very careful about who's around because you never know when the feds are watching. People come along and they're too helpful. I'm like, okay, are you an agent? Because I know the history of all that. But I'm telling you, this brother, Dr. Ken Harris, is I'm gonna tell. I want everybody to know we don't really we've never considered this magnitude of a partnership with anybody. We've never partnered on the convention. We don't connect to corporate partners even. No disrespect to those who do. That's just not our thing.
Yeah,
And so because we didn't want anything to dilute the purpose and the mission. So Dr. Harris and what he's doing it's so in alignment with what we do that it's going to be seamless. You're going to go into spaces where we're doing things with the convention, but then you'll go into his space and it'll be the same energy. It'll be the same
yeah,
people looking like us, doing amazing things around the globe. And it's just sort of more of everything that you already get from the convention. So
yeah,
everybody who wants to attend, you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Bring your family. It's family friendly. It's very constructive, productive. Whether you're trying to catch up with AI, because AI is going to take a lot of jobs, things like that. You have to get ready for the future. We got the AI experts, you got the business experts, you got the
yeah,
financial experts, you got the relationship experts, you got the health experts, you got everything across the board. And this is our version of a Harvard University type of environment. This is better, except it's better because those institutions are not built in our image. This institution is built in your image for you, for your family, and we want to understand you. We want to celebrate you, and we want to elevate you. So allblacknationalconvention.com is where you can go get your passes. Dr. Harris, I'm gonna let you get the last word, brother, because I got the Roto Rooter guy. He was poor guy. He's been waiting outside because I
oh,
gotta get the water fixed. But hey man, any final? I'm gonna ask you one question actually on your final thought.
yeah, yeah.
I would like to hear your vision, right? I wrote this book in 2013. It's a short little book, almost like a manifesto, called "It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar: A New
Mm,
Paradigm for Black America."
mm,
And I wrote out my vision for Black folks for the year 2070. And I talked about, and we're about 12 years into the plan, and I argue that we're way ahead of schedule. One of the things that I wanted us to really embrace economics at a very high level. I think we're doing that. We have so many people that want to do that, and so when I look at the future and I look at, what would I like for our lives to look like in the year 2070, I base it on just the well-being of people in our community, not symbolic victories, but real
yeah,
victories.
yeah,
So I think about things like stable families, uh, higher wealth levels, which can lead to economic freedom,
yeah.
more ownership, better physical and mental health.
No question.
Right? All this undiagnosed, untreated trauma, we get rid of that generational curses, we push that out. Physical health issues, all those, fried chicken related diseases, we kind of push those to the side and really embrace things like exercise, whatever it takes. So in my view, that would be the vision I'd love to see. Just something where blackness as a brand and being black in America is not associated with pain, dysfunction,
Yeah,
and discomfort and disempowerment. I
yeah.
want the opposite of that. What is your vision for the future for our community in terms of where you see us in 50 years if we stay on the right path as a community?
Yeah, Dr. Boyce, it's time to get rid of the old circuit board. It's time to get rid of that chip that is no longer relevant for the future. It is now time to create the new model. All old institutions will, in some cases, not be relevant for the future, right? It is time for this generation to come forward with innovative ideas, to tap into the source, to tap into their spirit, and to tap into innovations like our ancestors who created the pyramids, who invented cultivation of agriculture, who invented trade, who invented enterprise and entrepreneurship 5,000 years ago. So when you think about where we were at the source, we are now coming back to that. And if I can just give some key points in terms of what I can leave you with. One, let's keep Black economic independence first. We're not just chasing jobs. We're building systems of ownership. We are creating our own tables. We are not begging to be at anybody else's table. Economic independence, it's a prerequisite to educational, social, and political liberation and freedom. If you don't have an economic base, you cannot achieve anything else. So own it and control it. We need to own and control every aspect of every need in the Black community, including labor, including media, including our neighborhoods. Buy the block. Start with one house, right? Team up with other folks who want to buy the block. Have a 3, 6, 9, and 12-year plan on how you're going to do that and start it today. Practice group economics. Circulate the $1.8 trillion Black dollar in our community first, right? Go online, look up Black products and services, and try to reach out and give our community a chance first. That's what every other community does. One Black dollar that is spent can empower a generation if 10 people did it on a regular basis. Just think about the incremental success of that. Wealth over income. Jobs, that's cool. If you want to sit on a job and work the entire day focusing on somebody else's program that's not an entrepreneur, that's not a Black business in the community, think about the return on investment from that. How can we contribute and build wealth over income? And most importantly, this is the day and age of content. Content is king. It used to be he who controlled the dollar ruled, right? Today is he who produces the content and has the influence, has the ability to create an economic narrative for themselves and their families. And so we have to control our media. We have to create media platforms like drboycewatkins.com. And we need to start preaching and promoting economic ownership and development and liberation. If it doesn't lead to that, then why are we doing it? If it doesn't lead to empowerment, freedom, and liberation, then what the hell are you doing it for? Just ask yourself that question, okay? Some people are happy being on the plantation, but when they see freedom, I promise you that mindset will change. And I'll lead you with these last two things. The technology revolution is here. There's nothing you can do about it. It is here today. Become a part of it. As opposed to just participating with technology, start to own and develop the technology. We must own our AI and digital and automation infrastructures. It's a huge opportunity for people who are at the table. And then last but not least, I'm going to just leave you with this. Try to love yourself, because if you love yourself, you have no problem loving someone else who deserves that love too. We are moving into the love age, into the light age. All that haterade, all of that dissension, all that negativity, there's no more room and space for that in this time anymore. We are now coming together as light beings, and we are forging a new way forward. We are creating the earth that we would like to see. We are building the foundations for the future. And that's what this is really all about. So I want to leave you with that statement. We are love. So in our own way, let's see if we can produce that love and give it to someone else.
All right. All right. Everybody, can you please give a digital thank you to our good brother, Dr. Ken Harris? I got to bring him back now. Now they the ones that, if you don't know, now you know. This is a great Black man, and I'm gonna tell you, brothers, we got to put crowns on each other's heads, And so with this brother here, he's another handsome bald man like myself, and we ain't playing. We ain't playing. So, all right. So I want to say God bless everybody for hanging out with us today. If you want to join us in August for the All Black National Convention, and I hope you'll bring your family, bring anybody you're connected to. They're all welcome. Feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. And also to be on the text list to receive an invitation to join this class and join the private Zoom, text the word morning to the phone number 87948. Text morning to 87948. And thank you so much, Dr. Ken Harris. And we're going to bring this brother back very, very soon. And he's going to be doing great work down in Tuskegee and around the country. And I can't wait to follow up on that. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you. And thanks again, Ken. Good to see you, brother.
Thank you. Have a good day, Dr. Boyce. Take care.
All
Be
right.
with family. All right.
Peace.